Welcome back to TMZ Live. This is just going to be awesome. One of these moments where we get to hang out with someone we have both admired for years and years as a musician, as an actor, and now as an educator of sorts, because Stephen Van Zandt, aka Little Stevie, has stepped up to do something in New York schools that is really, really necessary for kids, millions of kids in the New York school system right now. It is an after-school program, music-driven appropriately, for the guy who's been rocking with the E Street Band for years. So joining us right now is Stephen Van Zandt. Stevie, welcome to TMZ Live. How you doing, man?
Hey, Stevie.
How are you?
We're good,
Well, first
man.
of all,
We're good.
I'm like beyond excited because I followed you guys around for so many years. Remember the Coliseum, Stephen? Do you remember the Born in the USA tour at the Coliseum? It was the best single concert I've ever seen in my life.
Was that you in the fifth row?
That was me.
I thought that
please.
was you.
He couldn't afford fifth row back then, man.
First of all, because we always ask this when we start, how are you doing? How is you and your family?
Well, we're okay. I lost a few friends, which has been tragic, and you wake up every day wondering, who's next. But we've been okay, staying in, doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's really been rough for everybody in the New York, New Jersey area there. I mean, everybody knows someone who's been affected by this. So
Yeah.
I'm sure, like you say, when you wake up every morning, that's weighing heavy on you.
Yeah, really, and it's just, I'd feel a little bit better if there was some end in sight, but until every state does this, I don't see how it ends,
Boy, say it again, man, because that is the answer to this. That this virus does not understand borders.
Yeah.
So
I'm just wondering where, Secretary General of the UN is. I mean, he should be coming out saying every country, let's take 30 days off worldwide, man, and get a handle on this thing, So it's not only our own country, but the whole world should be taking a month off and just staying in and, maybe we can get control of this thing.
Well, we agree. And you are doing something really good for people who are stuck inside.
Yeah, Stephen, tell us about TeachRock, because this is an incredible program.
TeachRock.org, we started it like 15 years ago, and we just went public with it this past year. I wanted to have at least 100 lessons up online before we went public, and so now we're close to 200 lessons, all music history curriculum based. And our mission was basically threefold, really quick, to keep the arts in the education system, in the DNA of the basic education system, because all the arts classes were being cut. Our second mission was to create a way of getting to this new generation, a new methodology that would get their attention because they're smarter than us and faster than us and have no patience whatsoever. So we needed to get their attention, and music is the way to do that. And then our third concern is the dropout rate. We're really trying to affect that. That's our long-term goal, is to increase the graduation rate out of high school and cut down the dropout rate, because there's a direct line between dropouts and ending up in the prison system. So we really want to affect that. But for this thing, we hooked up with New York Edge, a fantastic organization, and they have like the access to 40,000 kids, I think, and 130 schools. So they're using our content, our music history curriculum from TeachRock.org to, do distance learning, which is, like homeschooling, which is becoming more and more popular anyway.
Yeah.
So, it works, we're all homeschooling now. So, the idea was to get the kids' attention and keep it and do something that's interesting.
So, Steve, we should say this is it's an after-school, now a virtual after-school program. What kind? Obviously, you would be doing guitar, but what other instruments are part of the curriculum?
No, it's not instruments. It's music history.
Music history.
Yes, it's history. So it works for all kids, all disciplines. Teachers teach it in music class, in history class, social studies. It's music history. So this way it affects all the kids, not just musicians.
So that's interesting. I find this really interesting. So if it's history, how far back in history are you going?
We go all the way back to the early 20th century, but we focus mostly on the contemporary scene so that the kids have a connection. We have a terrific Billie Eilish lesson, for instance.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. Tell us about that. That's really interesting. Tell us about that.
Well, she's into this thing called synesthesia, which is something that is great for elementary kids. Well, it's good for every level. But synesthesia is something where you listen to the music, and then the kids draw and picture whatever they picture the music sounding like, shapes and colors, and they apply colors and shapes out of their imagination related to the music being played. So. Billy does this herself, and so we that's one lesson. For instance, we have a math lesson that has to do with the Beatles playing in Hamburg and how often they played.
Oh, I love this, Stephen. I got to ask you something. We're almost out of time. Like I said, and I really mean this. My favorite thing to do, honestly, was to follow you guys. Whenever you came to LA. So I'm wondering, because you are such an incredible venue band, what's going to happen? I mean, people, I don't think people are just going to say, oh, let's congregate again. What's going to happen to all of these events that we've enjoyed so much?
I don't know. I tell you right now, it's never going to be exactly the same. That's for sure. I don't think anybody will ever shake hands again, for instance. I think that's over forever, I don't know at what point, like I say, at the rate we're going here, I wish we had learned from New Zealand, who immediately, shut down the country after they've had one death, because they shut down the country immediately. I'm not sure at what point it's gonna be safe to do a concert, So I don't know. We're all gonna have to learn how to, play at home and somehow stay in time with each other. I don't know.
Hologram shows.
Yeah, honestly, all we can try and do is turn people on to their music. The nice thing about being an artist is you live forever, in that sense. So we're trying to turn people on to the greatest music ever made with our radio stations.
Yeah, and you were doing a great job of it, man. And your music, helps people get through this. It helped me yesterday. I was listening to some of you guys when I went out briefly for a run, and it really helps, man. It really does help when you're feeling down. So. Thank you for the music, Stephen, and this program.
And the program,
is really
the
amazing.
after-school program is amazing.
Yeah, kids are loving it, and teachers are loving it. So we're very happy that we're able to contribute at this time.
Yeah,
Stephen, thank you so much for the time. Stay safe. We really enjoyed having you on.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.